So, good morning, everyone. I'm going to make a start and welcome to our webinar on using the new online library. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ellen and I am the Research and Outreach Librarian at the IMechE, and with me are Sarah, Adrian and Lucy from the Library and Archive team, and they are on hand to answer any questions that you might have as we go along. You can type your question into the Q&A during this presentation. Sarah's put the instructions on where to find that in the chat box. And please make sure you click send to all rather than send privately so that we can respond. There will be a Q&A session at the end as well, so we can answer any questions you might have. So just a bit of background on why this session is called How to Use the New Online Library. So the library team spent most of last year and the first few months of this year implementing a new library management system and a new discovery tool or library search. So our previous system was called OLIB and it was about 20 years old, and the online library was split into two systems, one for online resources and then one for the print material that we have on our shelves. And members had to log in separately to these. And while we tried to make that as smooth as possible, it was still not as smooth as we liked. So lots of other considerations as well. We made the decision to upgrade, and now we have a modern integrated system which lets members access the online resources and also request our print items in the same interface. It also has lots of new features which I will be showing you today. So the library is based at the institution in London, which you can see here on the screen, but our online library is perfect for wherever you're based around the world. Today we'll be showing you what you can access as part of your IMechE membership, an online demo on how to access these resources using the new library search, and an overview of our other library services, including our inquiry service. So first, I'll just give a brief overview of what you can access online with your membership. Currently, we have over 60,000 ebooks and 17,000 e-journals available for you. You can see a selection of our suppliers here. We have books and journals from the main publishers, including Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, Springer, McGraw-Hill and Wiley. You also have access to the IMechE proceedings dating back to 1847, as well as the conference, journal papers and standards of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. These resources are held across multiple online databases that we subscribe to, but you don't need to look in lots of different places to find what you need. Today I will show you how to use our library search, which looks across all of those databases. We also have specialist resources such as ASTM standards, ASME standards, SAE technical papers and ground vehicle standards that can be accessed through our library resources page. And I just want to add that if you're a regular library user or you have used us in the past before, while we do have a new system and a new library search, you still have access to everything you did before, so there's no change on that side. In fact, we have added to our collection and we now have a collection of ISO and Irish standards, which are the equivalent to British standards, that are available to read online. So I'll show you where to find those as well. So I'm just going to switch over to the browser. Just one moment. So hopefully now you can see the IMechE homepage. So if we're looking at our IMechE homepage, here you'll see the Library and Archive tab at the top right. So let's click through and it will take you through to our mini homepage here. So you might have noticed that as well as updating our library search, we've also refreshed our web pages as well. So I'll just quickly go over them for you. So we have here a box for our library services. We have a box here for archive services. And then down at the bottom there's a box on information on how to visit us at the Library Members Hub. So I'll just scroll back up to the top of the page. And if we hover over the tab again and click Search Our Library and Digital Resources, this takes you, oh, it should take you, I knew this would happen, to our main resources page. So I will show you that a little bit later, I think. I'll head straight to our library discovery instead while it's taking its time to think about it. So I'll just click here and I'll head back a little bit and show you the main library resources page at the end. But why not? Let's dive right in to the library search. So this is a page that you can bookmark if you like, so it sort of takes you to our sort of just a main search box here. We do have the search box on our library resources page as well, and I'll show you that at the end. But for now, let's search for a topic. So I'm just going to explain a little bit what's on the screen, as obviously this is a new look library search that we have. So as you can see here, we've got the main section of the page is dedicated to the results. So each result is in one of these numbered boxes here. You have the title of the item, the author here, you've got a label on what kind of material it is. So this one's an ebook here, and then you've sort of got some publication information there. You've got a summary of the item here, and then this down here tells you the availability. So green tick shows you that we hold it and it's available. So you can tick this view ebook button here to access it straight away, or you can click the title here to be taken through to the item page. So this sort of is like a fuller record of the item here, so it gives you lots of information. And then down here there's a good section here, explore editions and formats. So our library search is powered by WorldCat, which is the largest library catalogue in the world. So you can use our library search to see what other libraries around the world have. And this is just a little example of it here, so you can see that we hold it as well as 152 other libraries. It also shows you that there is a print book, that print books exist of this ebook as well. That's just a feature there. But we'll head to this access options box, and you can click view ebook, and it'll take you through to the database that it's held on. So I'm already logged in, so it will then ask you at this point, before you see the ebook, it will ask you to log in with your IMechE details, and these are the same details that you're using to log into your IMechE account on the website. And then from then on, as this is your like an active session, it won't ask you to log in from then on. So again, you see options here. You can read online, and some of the databases do have that option, or you can download the whole book here as a PDF to your device. And there is also the option, if you scroll down, to download the individual chapters as well if you're not wanting the whole book. So that's how to access an ebook. I'll just head back to our search results. And I'll just show you how to request a print book now. So as you can see here, result number 8. So again, we have the same info. We have title, authors, and an indication here that this is a print book with the label. And another clue is that it has a shelf mark here. So if you're in the library, you can go and find it on the shelf. So what's great about WorldCat as well is that it groups editions and formats of the same book together. So you can see here that we do have it, it's available as an ebook. So that's great, we can access it straight away if you like. But let's just say that we do want the print book of it. So we'll click on the title to go through to the item page. And then we can see our access options here, and there's some information here, so I'll just take you through that. So again, it's available to be borrowed. If it was borrowed already on loan to another member, there would be a red sort of circle icon here, and it would say checked out with the date that it's expected to be returned as well. And then here we have where it is in the library, so you can go and find it if so. And then we have 2 options here. So we now have a button called Pick Up from the Library, which reserves the book for you and tells us that you're coming to pick it up. So we would pick the book off the shelf for you and have it ready for you to come in the library and collect. And then we have a postal loan button here. So for this, you just need to ignore this sort of little title here. I know it looks like it's in a separate box, and when we were implementing the new system, we realised that WorldCat didn't deal with a lot of libraries like us that have a postal loan service, so we couldn't have these 2 buttons together in the same box, unfortunately. So our postal loan option is currently under this Libraries Worldwide section, but we are hoping that WorldCat will improve this for us in the future so that it is just a little bit less confusing for people. But for now, this works, so you don't need to worry that you're requesting an interlibrary loan or anything. This will notify us that you want the book posted to you. So if we click this button, it takes you through to a form. So this is the postal loan or book form. So we know that we have it here in the library, so we want a postal loan and not an interlibrary loan. So we just select that there on the drop down. It will autofill this sort of bibliographic information. And then it might autofill your address as well if we have one on your record for you, but you can edit this as well with your preferred delivery address. And then your contact information here, and then any further instructions for us as well. And then you click Submit Request. And so our postal loan service is for members in the UK and Europe. Our loan period is 3 weeks and items will be automatically renewed 4 times, and when you're ready to return it, you just post it back to us, and we do put a label in the package for you. So I'll head back to our results. So I'm going to show you some useful ways to refine your search results. So we'll just scroll up to the top again, and you can see on the left here you have a menu. So I'll just show you some useful ways that you can filter your results. So we've got material type here, so you can see here that you can narrow it down to say article, for example. If you're just looking for books, you can narrow it even further, for example, if you want to just look at ebooks. So we'll click article, and then it refreshes with the results. Another useful option is publication year, and you can click these sort of options here, or you can put a custom year range in as well. So say if you're looking for recent research, you could sort of put 2020 or 2021 to 2023. I'm going to click last 5 years. And then another option is this one at the bottom that says held by library. So this is where WorldCat kicks in, and you can look at libraries worldwide. So I'll just tick this and show you. So some things obviously it will say that we do have, but this option, this result, sorry, for example here, doesn't have a green tick and it doesn't say Institution of Mechanical Engineers. So if we, for example, we see this and we think, oh, actually no, that looks really interesting. I'm going to click on the title and we can look at our access options. So we can see that there is a button to request a scan of this article from another library. So to do this, we'll click the button and it takes you to the article form here. We know that we don't hold it, the IMechE library doesn't hold it, so we'll select Interlibrary Request from the drop-down box. And you've got information here on the interlibrary charges and then information on how you pay as well. Again, it fills in the article information, and then here we say whether we want it for commercial or non-commercial use, so sort of work use or personal use basically. So you select that. And then we have our contact information here, the email address that we want it sent to, and then we'll click Submit Request. So once you click Submit, this notifies us of your request. I might actually just click it and see. Go, so it's here. This notifies us of your request and we process it for you. Once another library has supplied the scan, we will notify you by email with a download link to the scan that will take you to something called Article Exchange, and that's where you can download the scan from. And then we'll send a separate email with the WorldPay link. So the interlibrary service is something that we have always offered when members, for example, they've emailed us and they can't find a certain book or a journal article. But thanks to WorldCat, we're now able to integrate this into the search, which lets members request things for themselves, and it's a much more automated and quicker process as well. So of course that's just an option. We subscribe to 17,000 different journals, so that's a lot of content available freely to you with your IMechE membership. So we just wanted to show you that the interlibrary loan is also an option. But I'll click back to just showing our material. And we've still got our filters here for showing articles in the last 5 years. So I'll just show you that you can see now there's different buttons appearing. So we have View PDF, and sometimes it will also say View Full Text. Let's see if I can find one. Here. Oh yeah, here we go. So there's one like this. Basically does the same thing. It will take you through to the article. But for example, I'll show you if we click View PDF, it will take you straight to the PDF. It will cut out the database basically and take you straight to the PDF that you can download to your device. Whereas View Full Text, it might just take you to the web page, for example. So here we have, it's not quite fully there. So if we click, takes you to here, and then there's an option here. For example, look for the PDF as well, or it looks as though you can read it straight off the page. But you see, there's just a few more clicks to get to the article. So these buttons are powered by IMechE. So if you click, for example, you might notice it flashes up with IMechE. And this allows you to skip the database and gives you quick access to the PDF. But it's also a browser extension. So IMechE is something that you can download yourself and use for free that pops up. I'll show you, for example, it popped up on this page here. You can see down in the left-hand corner, it pops up with a little button. So it's a browser extension that only pops up on publisher websites and things like Google Scholar to see and let you know if you can actually skip the paywall on the publisher website and see if we actually hold it instead. So that's quite useful. I won't fully go into it now as that's a whole other webinar that we've done. We can put the link to that session in the chat box for you. It's actually really helpful. So it's great if you're doing a lot of research. It's a really good tool to use. And we also have a help guide on it on our blog. So I think we'll pop those in the chat for you to look at as well. But if you find that you read a lot of journals, we have another free tool now that I will show you called Browsing, and that's from the same creators as IMechE. So Browsing you can access through our library webpage. We do have a link to it, or you can just type browsing.com into the search bar, the URL bar, and it takes you through. So the first time that you do this, it will ask you which library you belong to, and it will then ask you to log in. So you'll use your IMechE login to sign in, and then from then on it will remember who you are and it takes you through to this homepage here. So browsing is really good for literally browsing the journals. So you can search for a journal here, that's fine, there's a search box, but it really is built for browsing what we have. So it's just a much more visual way of looking at what journals that you have access to with your IMechE membership. So I'm just going to click and pick some journals at random. You can see that it narrows down into topics as well. I'll just choose one here. And when you find a journal that looks interesting, you click through and it shows you this journal page. So you can see down on the left, we've got issues and volumes dating right back here. So you can click through, choose a volume, and then it shows the list of articles within that issue. I'll just pick a random article here. And it takes you through to the database that it's held on. In this case, it's Science Direct. And you can view the PDF. Browsing is also really good for finding and discovering new journals in sort of the topics that you're interested in. So for example, if you knew about, you read energy or you're aware of it, you might want to think, what else, what other journals are there? So we'll click energy. And then it shows you here in this panel on the right all the other journals in that subject. So you might think this one looks good. And you might have discovered a new journal that's interesting for you. So if you like the look of browsing, you can create an account and this allows you to save journals and articles to your bookshelf. So this account is separate to your IMechE account and you don't need a browsing account just to read articles like we've been doing. But it is useful if you want to save journals or save articles in a collection to read later. It's also handy because it's an app, so you can access it across different devices, and if you do have a browsing account, it will sync your bookshelf and your articles collection across all your devices as well. So if you want more information, we have instructions on our blog and how-tos as well about the various features, or you're welcome to email us and we'll send you those links. But the webinar that talks about LibKey also talks about browsing as well, so that demonstrates browsing to you as well. So you'll notice that we've had quite a lot of journals that pop up on Science Direct. And I will just show you how to use it now. Sometimes there is an extra step. So in almost all of our databases, you'll only see content to which you have direct access. But because Science Direct holds such a broad variety of material that might be of interest to you, we also offer access to the rest of the content on Science Direct on a transactional basis. So this just means that instead of immediate access to the PDF, you just need to request the article from us. So I'll show you an example of that now. So for example, this one, we know we can access it straight away. It says view PDF. However, you might click through and it might look a little bit different and it might have this order PDF button instead. So you can see that the journal here is computers and geosciences. So it's a little bit outside of our core mechanical engineering collection that we subscribe to on Science Direct. So, but it's not a problem. If you do think, oh, this looks really interesting, I want to read this article, just click Order PDF and it takes you through to a really quick form that you fill in with your name, your IMechE number and your email address that you want us to send it to. It's just being a little bit slow, but it will pop up. Here we go. So that's it, that's the form there, and then you click send. And this sends an email to the library team, and we download the article for you and email it across. So if you do this during our opening hours, weekdays 9 till 5:30, you'll usually get your document the same day. And if you request outside of our hours, we'll pick the email up the next working day. And members have 20 downloads of this type. So 20 downloads for Science Direct articles that are outside of our subscription, because we only have a limited number of credits available for the material that's outside of our subscription. But we find that this is more than enough for the majority of our members, so it's not something that you need to worry about. But of course, you can always email us. We're happy to take a look for you and help you out. So I'll head back to our library search. And I just want to show you one last feature of our new library search, which is the library account. So up the top right here at the top of the screen, we've got a sign in button. And this takes you, well, actually it just signs you in, and it will still have the results here. But you can see that you've got a My Account option. So you can have a look at your checkouts or loans, any requests that you've made. You can have a look at your search activity, saved searches or saved items. So for example, you can, once you're logged in, you can save any items that look interesting. And then also you can save your searches as well. So I'll just show you here. So now this is your account page. So we've got loans and checkouts here, and you can. It will show you the due date as well. So it's quite handy just to check what date your books are due back. Any requests that you've made. So this is where my interlibrary loan request sits, and you can sort of check the status of it as well. You can also look at your past ones and think, oh, you can request it again, for example, if need be. Search activity. So you've got your search history here, as well as your saved searches, and borrowing history as well. So you can turn this on if the first time you're logging into your library account. You can turn this on with your profile. So just here, borrowing history, you would need to click enable borrowing history if you want it enabled, of course. You can also see your saved items. So clicking at the drop-down menu here, saved items, and you'll see them here. These are only available for your current active session, and they do disappear. So after your session ends. So it's an idea to either you can email them to yourself, or you can cite them as well. So you can download the citation. For example, if you're using bibliographic reference software, so EndNote or Zotero or Mendeley, for example. So that's another option there, but you also can email them to yourself as well. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the live demo. I'm going to see if the library page has decided to show itself. So let's just, there we go. So this is what I meant to show you at the start. So you can get here just to refresh, you're on the IMechE website, Library and Archive tab, and then search our library and digital resources. So you've got the search box here. You've got different tabs here as well, so if you're just looking for books, for example, you can already narrow it down before you even go into the search. So that's just an option. And then I'll just quickly take you through the library resources page because it has had a refresh. So we've got our box for our library services here, a box here to log in and manage your library account. And then we've split our resources now into different sections. So we've got our online standards here. So again, we've got ASME standards, database, ASTM, SAE technical papers and ground vehicle standards. This is our new SAI global standards collection. So this is where you can find a core collection of ISO, EN and Irish standards, and these will be equivalent to the sort of harmonised British standards as well. So we're very pleased that we can offer this as well. This is very, very new. So go in and take a look. And then we also have ESDU standards as well. So this is a library only database. So if you're in the library, you can access the ESDU standards, but you can also go in here and request the standards as well. So you can take a look at what standards you need and then you just email us with the standards that you would like and we email them over to you. Here we have our online books and journals section. So we've got a link to our A to Z lists, and these are really helpful if you're looking and want to check that we have a certain book that you're looking for example, or a certain journal. This Browse Online Journals, that takes you to Browsing. And then we have our databases that we subscribe to. So you can go into these individually and search those as well if you would like. And then we have a box for online material properties tools. And then we have IMechE publications as well. So here you can find IMechE reports, IMechE proceedings, both current and dating back to 1847, PE magazine, and then the webinar hub as well. And I just want to point out regarding the standards, it is a lot easier to just go straight into the database that you need. So if, for example, if you know you're after ASME standards, rather than using the library search, it's much better to narrow it down as much as you can and go straight to the ASME standards database. So we do recommend that, for example, if you're looking for standards. That's just a little tip there from us. Okay, so I think that's the end of the live demo. So I'm going to just head back to our slides now. So hopefully you can see our slide. I'm just going to point out just a few more things about the library service. So the first is our library and members hub. So if you visited One Birdcage Walk before, you may remember the business centre which was for members to use. This was a few years ago now, but this is now integrated into the library, so it gives you a much more pleasant space in which to work. Facilities include flexible workspace for work and study, Wi-Fi, charging points, computers, printing and scanning, and most importantly, tea and coffee as well. Members are welcome to take calls, have ad hoc meetings, and bring guests. So there is a member of the library and archive team available as well. And if you do find yourself in London, we are open Monday to Friday, 9:30 till 5, and you're very welcome to visit, and you do not need to book ahead. This is your space to use. And the final thing I want to highlight is our inquiry service. So members can email us and use our free inquiry service to ask us anything. If you want help accessing the resources, you need help with a literature search, for example, if you're after a certain book or you just want to ask a question, that's what we're here for, so please don't hesitate to contact us. Our email is monitored during our working hours, so that's 9 till 5:30, Monday to Friday, and we guarantee to respond to emails within 2 days. And our usual response time is a lot quicker than that as well. So hopefully now you will have a better idea of what you can access through us and how to access it or request resources from us. The library service is a great benefit of your membership to the institution, so please think of it as your library. So if you're working on a project at work and you need resources, or you just have a question, we are here to help you, and we are just an email or a phone call away. So this marks the end of the webinar, but please feel free to ask us any further questions in the Q&A box, and we'll be here for another 10 minutes for a Q&A session. I do understand that it's coming up to the 45 minutes, so obviously please feel free to go if needed, but we are going to be here for another 10 minutes. And this session, also the Q&A session, will be part of the recording as well. So if you'd like to receive a recording of today's session and you didn't tick the consent box when you registered, you can just email us and that's fine. We'll share the link once it's ready. And attending this webinar counts towards your continuing professional development. So all you have to do is add it to your record. And I will now hand over to Sarah and see if we've had any questions.
It has been quite quiet on the question front, but there is a question about whether we send physical books out to a delivery address. And so yes, you can, if it's a print book, you can actually also limit to print books in the search, and then you can select the postal loan option, and then it will show your address out, or you can put in a different address, and then that request will come through to us, and there's no charge. We will send those out to any member who's based in Europe.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
And we do also get asked quite a lot about standards. So there are 3 ways. I think Ellen's covered most of the ways. So we do have a small hard copy collection which is available for postal loan. We can get standards from other libraries, and we have online standards from SAE, ASME and ASTM, and now this new core collection of Irish standards that are equivalent to ISO and BSI.
Yes, we're very excited about that, aren't we? It's great to be able to offer them online as well. But of course, if we don't have something that you're looking for, again, you can email us, and we often get standards from the British Library, for example, so you can borrow them via interlibrary loan as well. So if in doubt, just email us. We will try and source it from somewhere. So it's very rare that we can't find something. Okay, I'm just taking a look through.
And really as well, this is we are still kind of in a trial period with our new search. So if you do have any feedback, if you use the old search and have any questions or any positive or negative feedback, we really would like to hear as we're trying to make it the best for you.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, you can email us with your feedback. We'd really appreciate it. We did go live. We went live on the 1st of March, so it is still pretty new. It's new to us as well. So sort of still learning some ways and learning some new things about it and how best it can help you. And CPD, yeah, so it is a case, I think, really with your CPD, it's you just keep wherever you have your record, your CPD record, sorry, you just sort of put this in. I don't think there isn't a sort of a formal certificate or anything like that we can offer, but you can add it to your record as well. It does count towards your CPD. And there is an email address there on the screen to email for any info, or you can email us as well, and we'll try and find someone in the institution to help with that. But yeah, thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you for attending our very first webinar on this, on our new library search. It was a little bit shaky with the website. Not even the library search wasn't the problem, it was the website. But yeah, I hope that's been interesting for you and clear as well. We are planning on running these for the next few months as well, just to make people more aware of it as well. And we do have a library and archive newsletter coming out next week as well, so keep an eye on that. It'll be all about the new library search. And we do have as well a video coming out about it as well that's a lot shorter than this, but it just sort of goes through the basics. So we'll be sharing that on our social media as well. So you can see on the screen we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, and we also have Facebook now. Who said Facebook was dead? So we've got Facebook as well. We're quite new to it, but we thought we'd give it a go. And yeah, then we've got, we post on LinkedIn as well. We don't have our own account on LinkedIn, but we use the main IMechE channel. So if you don't already follow IMechE on LinkedIn, highly recommend it. Okay, so I think that's it for our questions. Hopefully that means that we answered a lot of questions through the webinar, which is great. But if you do, think of anything afterwards, I know that always happens to me, just give us an email. We'll be happy to answer any questions. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. I'm going to close the session now, but thank you everyone, and hope you have a really good day.